Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday edition of the Huddle Hub podcast. My name is Mike, and I'm joined here, as always, on a Tuesday night with the Pickmaster himself, the Candyman, Mr. Johnny H. John. How are you doing on this wonderful football Tuesday?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Exciting day to be following football. Exciting day to see all the news. You know, the trade deadline happened at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, and some exciting stuff, I guess, in fantasy football for me, kind of. I made a deal. You ready for this?
Let's hear it.
I have traded away running back of the Detroit Lions, Jahmyr Gibbs, for running back of the Carolina Panthers, Rico Dowdle.
I don't know about that one. I mean,
okay, but here's the thing: is I will say this: how this trade had happened. I get a message asking if I would trade away James Cook. Okay, and I said no. No, not happening. But instead of me saying I would consider Jahmyr Gibbs, I just ended up saying I would give you Gibbs. That was my first mistake, John. Didn't think it would happen. Did not think for 1 second.
Think though?
Well, I mean, here's the thing:
you seem happy about the trade. Was it a mistake though?
Hold on. At first. I'm sitting here thinking because his focus was to get James Cook to build off the synergy of him having Josh Allen as his quarterback. So I'm thinking, even though I presented the fact that I would give Jahmyr Gibbs, he wasn't going to take it. My big mistake was saying I would give you Gibbs, not I would consider. Okay? So I end up saying this, and about 5 minutes later, he goes, okay, I'll take Gibbs. I'm like, shit. Okay. I got to go through with this at this point. I said I would do it. So I ended up getting...
go through with it.
Yeah, but here's the thing, John, is if I don't do it, and I end up not doing the trade, in the future, nobody's going to want to work with me. It's like a catch-22.
You could just be like, you know what? I thought about it. No, I'm not going to give him up. You don't have to go through with the trade.
Well, here's what made me feel a little better about this trade today. Was seeing all the news about Rico Dowdle being the number one running back out in Carolina. Chuba Hubbard is no longer the guy out there. Rico Dowdle is expected to have a boom the next couple weeks against some of the defenses that he's going to be facing, like the Atlanta Falcons, the New Orleans Saints, the Los Angeles Rams. The San Francisco 49ers have a very, very good run defense. So, you know, I'm not expecting good things against San Francisco. Okay. And then I seen Jahmyr Gibbs, his bust percentage go up from 9% at 11 o'clock this morning up to 26% at 3 p.m. and is now down to 21% as a bust percentage. So that made me feel a little more comfortable about this trade today.
As long as you both are happy, that's all that matters.
I mean, he's been happy all day.
Well, of course, I'd be happy too if I gave up Rico Dowdle for Jahmyr Gibbs.
But the reports that Detroit is supposed to be going to their pass game, more leaning on their pass game the next couple weeks, and Carolina is going to be leaning more towards their run game with Rico Dowdle. I mean, I think I may have ended up on the better end of this deal, maybe.
Well, we'll see.
Time will tell. We will see. We will find out.
Hopefully he doesn't get fleeced.
You know, and I thought I had everything figured out at the running back position this year. I thought I did with drafting Gibbs in the first round, with drafting
Cook.
Cook.
The only one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just been that just shows that it's been a weird year. I mean, you were projected to win
next weekly.
I mean, you were projected to win the league at the beginning.
I know. I know. You don't have to tell me. I get bit by my running backs weekly.
You know. But that's what happened to me today. That is what happened to me with this being the trade deadline. It's crazy that I actually got a trade done today, and hopefully it's for the better. But here on the Huddle Hub podcast, we are going to talk about the actual trade, the real NFL trade deadline ending at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. Before we get into everything that we are going to get into tonight, I want to remind everybody that we are on social media over on X, YouTube, and TikTok at the Huddle Hub Pod, and over on Twitch at the Huddle Hub Podcast. Make sure you're hitting the follow button everywhere that you see us. And over on the YouTube, you got to hit subscribe. That's how you follow. Help us build the Huddle Hub Podcast going through the 2025 season and beyond. It would be greatly appreciated. I've been doing some TikTok lives before we go live on Sunday morning and Tuesday evening here as of late, just to kind of try and, trying to talk to some of the people that have been following. I mean, the Huddle Hub podcast is growing pretty much every day. We gain a follower or two, viewers, everything like that. And it's been greatly appreciated to see. It's just been great to watch, and definitely appreciate the people that are supporting us here in the early stages of the Huddle Hub podcast and this brand. So, John, with that being said, first things first, pick challenge is updated. I'm 84-51. You're 89-46. You are 5 games up in the NFL now. We went into last week with you up by 2 or 3. So you gained 2 more games this week. College football, I'm 7-3. You are 9-1. So, I mean, college football.
After you jinxed poor Georgia Tech.
After you jinx Penn State.
I didn't jinx Penn State because they lost the week before. They already had 1 loss on their belt, so nice try.
Yeah. But that's the pick challenge right there. That's the updated. And, I mean, at least I'm not 20-something games behind by now. Last year, I was like 18
great years, man.
Yeah. They were great years for you, but things have changed. I've gotten smarter.
Yeah, but I'm still winning, so it's changed, but it hasn't.
It's also been a weird year. So,
Oh, no. Here come the excuses.
I'm just saying it's been a weird year. It has been. It's been an odd year. Speaking of odd year, NFL Week 9, we're going to recap it. John, what are the 3 games or more games that you were focused on this past week in the NFL?
Oh, let's see here. I will start with the Colts coming up short against the Steelers 27-20. And I want to focus on this because you have the best running back in the NFL, the Colts do, and Jonathan Taylor. And in my opinion, the MVP candidate. I think he's been the best player on offense this year, hands down, over everybody. And they barely used him. They barely used him in the first half when they were down 17-7. They started using him in the second half, and by then it was too late. So the Colts deserved that loss. They tried to put it all on Indiana Jones's shoulders, and he couldn't handle the load. Get back to doing what you do best, Indianapolis. Run the ball to open up the pass. Next game I want to talk about is the thrilling kind of game between the Raiders and the Jaguars, with the Jaguars picking up the win 30-29 in overtime. And by the end of the third quarter, you wouldn't have known this was going to be a thriller. That's why I said kind of, because the Raiders were winning 9-6 going into the fourth quarter. And then they decided to stop playing defense, both teams. And I don't know what Pete Carroll was thinking going for 2. I mean, I get it. I get what he was thinking. He wanted to win. Yeah. But let's be honest here. You're 2-6.
Yeah.
A loss is going to help you more in rebuilding your team than a win will. The Jaguars needed to win more than the Raiders did.
Yeah.
Because they have the 7th seed right now. They're 1 game over the Chiefs. Chiefs are 5-4. Jaguars are 5-3. They have 1 game lead on that 7th spot for the playoffs right now. And I don't know if I told you when it was happening, because I was watching it on Red Zone, if I would have went for the tie if I were the Raiders.
I would have too.
But It's
I
the
would have too.
Raiders doing Raiders things, and the Jags end up getting the win, 30-29. And let's see, one more game to talk about. We'll go with, surprisingly, the Titans showing up against the Chargers. I mean, let's be honest, everybody thought this was going to be a big blowout for the Chargers, but the Titans have shown some life in the last couple weeks. It's nice to see that. I mean, they're still 1-8, and they were expected to lose, but not by 7. So I just want to give props to the Titans offense for showing some life, and that pick 6 to really help get the Titans going too. What about you, Mike? What are the games you want to focus
To
on?
respond to one thing before I get into mine, number one, the Raiders. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I would have went for the tie opposed to going for the win, because a tie would have helped the Raiders a lot more against Jacksonville than going for the win. Because again, you go for 2 points to take the lead and go for the win. You get it, great. You win. You pick up another win. You're what, 3-6? Cool. But if you don't get it, you end up losing. That's a loss in your record. But if you go for the tie, as we know as of late, they've been treating ties like wins.
They've always have. It's basically a game and a half. Look at the Packers holding that lead in the NFC North. It's a game and a half over the Lions and the Bears, basically.
Exactly. So it's like, Raiders, we get it that you are pretty much 1 foot deep to the fact that your season is over, but go for the tie. It gets treated like a win at the end of the day. And if you actually start going out and doing what you did, even 2 years ago in the back end of your season, and made a run to the chance of winning the AFC West, which I know it's an impossibility for the Raiders at this point, but they tried to make a run for it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And they had one opportunity to do it and they blew it. Who says they don't go and try and do that on the second half of the year this year and try and make a run?
That's
Who
what I
knows?
expect the Ravens to do now that Jackson's back. I expect them. Hey, they're not that far away behind the Steelers, and they play the Steelers twice, so it's not impossible. I could see them coming back from that 1-5 start and making the wild card, if not stealing the division from Pittsburgh.
Well, my games that I focused on this week, one of them the same as you, as the Steelers and the Colts. I mean, great defensive display by the Steelers against this Colts team, who has had the hottest hand in the NFL as of late, all season, to be exact. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, I do not disagree with you at all. He is a front runner for league MVP, but you can't discount, Daniel Jones for the possible running for MVP, along with a couple other guys out in the NFL that are showing the chance of becoming the league MVP. I mean, you look at the MVP race right now, Patrick Mahomes is automatically going to be thrown into it because it's Patrick Mahomes. But does he deserve to be in that talk? No, he doesn't. Not at all. I don't think so. So I agree with you, Jonathan Taylor, and even Daniel Jones being in that running. But great defensive display by Pittsburgh, going out, picking up the win. I mean, hopefully this is a ride of momentum for Pittsburgh. Hopefully this is them telling themselves, if we go out and do what we did against Indianapolis each week, we have a chance of keeping the lead in our division. And possibly, if you look at it right now, and I said this to Cam 2 weeks ago on the Sunday show, that if Pittsburgh goes out and beats Indianapolis, and Indianapolis and Pittsburgh end up with the same records, Pittsburgh gets home field advantage because of that victory over them. And now Pittsburgh put themselves in a great position. I hope they realize what position they just put themselves in. Seriously.
With Pittsburgh, though, it's going to be a hard road for them, because you can argue that the first half of their schedule was easy. But the second half of their schedule, they got the Chargers next.
Was the Packers game really easy, though?
Huh?
Was it? Was the Packers game really easy, though?
Okay. We had the Jets. Easy.
Yeah, Jets. Yeah.
We had the Vikings. We had the Browns. We had
Vikings.
The Bengals.
The Vikings have a really good defense, though.
It's still the Vikings.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's how I look at it.
They just They just beat Detroit in Detroit. And JJ McCarthy coming off of what, a 5-week injury?
It's a division game, though.
Saying.
I mean, they got the Chargers next in Los Angeles. That could be a loss. They got Buffalo. That could be a loss. They play the Ravens twice. Any one of them could be a loss. They got a game in Detroit against the Lions. That could be a loss. Like, this is the easy part of the schedule is over. Now it's time for the hard part of the schedule.
We're
gonna find out who the Steelers are coming up.
I just think everybody is underlooking the Steelers because of one reason, and that's Aaron Rodgers. And I think Aaron Rodgers has definitely proved himself so far this season that he is still a decent quarterback that can go out and win games.
I think everybody's underlooking the Steelers because they're in the worst division of football. They're in the easiest division of football to win.
I don't know. My next game is the Packers-Panthers. Hats off to the Panthers for going out to Green Bay and beating the Packers. That's not a very easy thing to do, is to go into Lambeau Field and win a ball game on the road. And the Panthers went out and did that 16-13. And my other game is the Chiefs and Bills. What a game in the AFC between the Chiefs and the Bills out at the Highmark Stadium. The final game of this rivalry at the old Highmark before new Highmark opens up next year. I talked very, very, very highly about this ball game on Sunday's show, and it did not disappoint at all. And for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to go out and pick themselves up coming off the bye week and off their little losing streak that they were on. I mean, what a bounce back for Buffalo. And for the first time in the Patrick Mahomes era, I believe this is the first time in the Patrick Mahomes era that the Chiefs are not in the playoff picture in any type, whether it's the first playoff picture projection or anything. The Chiefs are not in it. And that has never happened.
For now, I don't think the Jaguars hold on to that ace spot.
But I'm just saying, like, this is the first projection, and the Chiefs aren't in it. The Chiefs have always been in every projection for playoffs since Patrick Mahomes has become a Kansas City Chief. So, I mean, it's crazy to see and crazy to think about.
So this is also the first year that the Chiefs started out, 2-3 in their first 5 games, but they got it figured out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with Rashee Rice coming back, I mean, that's help. Yeah. That's definitely help.
Figured out.
It is. But that's all we got for the recap of the NFL Week 9. Me and Cam will get you ready for Week 10 this Sunday on the Sunday Show, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Huddle Up Podcast, Twitch, and YouTube channel at the Huddle Up Pod. John, NFL records and milestones that were met and broken this week. Starting off with the players, Cam Little, kicker of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He set the NFL record for the longest field goal with 68-yard kick against the Raiders this week. So, new field goal record was broken. Christian
McCaffrey. Not as long, though. He made a 70 in the preseason. So
he did, but they couldn't count it.
We know his range, and we know he was capable of doing it. So, it was just a matter of time.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey, running back of the 49ers, he broke a tie with Marshall Faulk for the most games with both a rushing and receiving touchdown in NFL history with his 16th game with a rushing and receiving touchdown. So Christian McCaffrey gets past Marshall Faulk. Lamar Jackson, quarterback of the Ravens, he recorded his 4th career game with a perfect passing rating, breaking a tie with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Kurt Warner, and Ben Roethlisberger for the most in the Super Bowl era. Jackson Dart, rookie quarterback of the New York Giants, he became the first rookie to have a touchdown pass and a rushing touchdown in 4 consecutive games. So Jackson Dart, I mean, rookie of the year, maybe?
Possible.
Josh Allen, quarterback of the Bills, he set a franchise record for completion percentage in a single game with 88.5%. He also broke a tie with Cam Newton for the most games with at least 1 passing touchdown and 1 rushing touchdown, reaching his 46th career game with a passing and rushing touchdown. And final one for players, Drake May, quarterback of the New England Patriots, he tied an NFL record alongside Patrick Mahomes for the most consecutive games by a quarterback 23 or younger with at least 200 passing yards and a quarterback rating over 100 with his 8th straight game with those statistics. So Drake May, man, he's killing it. Then We have 3 team records real quick. Chicago Bears, they rushed for 283 yards, their most in a single game since 1984. The Pittsburgh Steelers forced 6 turnovers in a win over Indianapolis Colts, their most since 2010. The Baltimore Ravens achieved a perfect pass rating in a blowout win against the top-ranked defense, and the Buffalo Bills improved their regular season record against the Chiefs to 5-1. So the Bills are 5-1 against the Chiefs in the regular season.
Yeah, but that's great and all, but what's the Chiefs' record against them in the playoffs when it counts? I mean,
yeah,
that's great and all, but
yeah, I agree. I agree. And
gotta win when it counts in January.
And I said that during the Sunday show. I said, look, like Buffalo trying to get a little bit of payback for the loss in the playoffs last year, but at the same time, to get your full payback, you got to go do it in the postseason.
Exactly. That's the real payback.
Yeah. So, but that's that for the NFL records and milestones that were broken. Let's get into the real meat and bones of today. Before we get into the trade deadline, John, we got some news coming out of this week in football. The Jaden Daniels, quarterback of the Commanders, he was seen leaving Sunday's game with a cast on his arm. It is a dislocated elbow and is possible season ending. Not a great year for Jaden Daniels.
No, he definitely took a step back this year just with the injury bug. And is he going to be the next CJ Stroud? I proposed that question at the beginning of the year. I mean, I don't think he's going to be, but he's not. He's off to that kind of start.
I mean, I'll say this, and me and Cam were talking about this off air the other night, or last night, as a matter of fact. You know, the Washington Commanders, they had such a good offensive line last year, and I didn't realize it. I knew they brought in Laramie Tunsil in the offseason, but they literally changed up 3/4 of their offensive line this year.
You know, they brought in people that they looked like good moves in the offseason, trades, free agency.
But it has just not been good. It hasn't been. And the guys that they had last year as in the starting lineup is sitting right there on their bench. Right there on their bench. Why would you not go back to that success if you have your guys right there on that bench?
Well, it doesn't hurt that they don't have a running game. I mean, let's be honest. Eckler got hurt, and then they traded Brian Robinson Jr. to San Francisco. Yeah. Now they're relying on guys with one or two. One's a rookie, and the other is a second-year guy to really carry the load. It's inexperience right there at the running game. Then it's not taking pressure off the passing game.
Also for the Commanders, well, I'll say this: Dan Quinn, he had his press conference after the Sunday night game, and he's taking full responsibility for the Jaden Daniels injury. He said that he should have taken Jaden Daniels out when they were down big. Keeping Jaden Daniels in, it was his mistake, but the fans in Washington are not happy. They were calling for him to be fired. They were. Like, it
crazy
was not
because
good.
Last year, he's coach of the year. They're all happy for him.
Yeah.
Was it a half a season, half a year later, they're calling for him to be fired?
Yeah.
I think it's just, I don't want to say backlash, but I think it's just the emotion of the game and seeing the best player of your team go down when he didn't have to. Yeah. I don't think they really want him fired.
No. I mean, and we talked about this back when James Franklin got fired. I mean, you had a whole stadium yelling for him to get fired, and obviously he did the next day. But it's the emotion of the game. I mean, again, like you just said, he was coach of the year last year, took the team to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah,
you know, when it was
saw that coming.
Nobody. It was unexpected. Like, it was the expectations of making the playoffs for Washington last year there? Yeah, it was there. It was. But going further than the division playoffs, we're not there. Maybe even the wild card. Yeah, maybe even the wild card
to make the playoffs.
Oh, but they got there, and now the expectations were so high this year because everybody thought, oh, this Washington team's going to be back. But when you look at it in hindsight, they had so many player turnovers that it's like, this is not the same team that they had last year. These are different guys. So it's going to be different. So those expectations should have been lowered the moment they started making trade deals and releases and not extending contracts, everything like that. You know, Frankie Louvu, linebacker of the Commanders, he was also suspended for a game for a late hip drop tackle. So they're going to be losing a linebacker for a week.
Yeah, this is like he's a multiple time defender. I think this is like his third or fifth hip drop tackle of the season. So start the suspensions going if he's not going to stop.
Yeah. And that's not all out of the Commanders camp, though. Luke McCaffrey, wide receiver, he broke his collarbone. He's going to be out for the season. So the Commanders just falling apart at the seams. Washington is I think they're done. I think that's it.
I just got Scary Terry back, and now they lost Luke McCaffrey.
I mean, Terry McLaurin didn't even play this past week. He was ruled out because of injury. And that's what I don't get.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah, he was out with injury. And that's what I don't get is you're calling for him to get he wants this big contract. The guy hasn't seen the field more than 3 games this year. And this goes back to me and your contract talk back in the offseason of these guys want big contracts. Go out and play and earn it. Because he hasn't played more than 3 games this year.
Ayuk wanted a big contract, and then he got hurt. Purdy wasn't talking about money, but he got his money. He played, 2-3 games this year? It's like you pay them and they get hurt.
Yep. That's why I think teams need to start thinking about the formula of if it is a contract year, see how the guy does. If the guy plays more than 50%, great. Contract him, get him extended, keep him. If he plays less than 50%, but he's around the mark of 50%, then think about it before you make the move and see if anything else better comes along. Other than that, don't make that jump right away. Like, I get it, there's more to it.
Is if you don't make the jump and secure him, somebody else who needs that position desperately will make the jump.
And that's what I was about to say. I know there's more to it. There is, and that's one of the factors. But it's still the point of like, hey, like we got to see how you're going to do. And that's what the Jets are doing with Breece Hall this season. They told him we are not extending you until we see what you do this season. And Breece Hall's trying to earn it. So
he wanted out too. He posted a picture on TikTok or Instagram with him sitting by the phone like he wanted to be traded so bad.
Sure did.
They should just let him walk. If he doesn't want to be there, why extend him? Just let him walk.
Yeah. Tucker Kraft, tight end of the Packers, he's going to be out for the season with a torn ACL that he suffered in the game against the Panthers on Sunday. That's a tough go for Green Bay because they've been having a little bit of a struggle ever since that Browns loss. It's been a struggle for them. I mean, they've gone out and won a game or two since that loss to the Browns, but they've been struggling. I mean, how do you go from starting off as hot as you did? And I mean, I know the Saints did it last year, but how do you do that? Like, that's rough.
I mean, they're still leading their division, though. They're 5-2-1, so it's not like they dropped to like 3-5 after starting with that hot start. They're still winning. It just doesn't. They just don't get. They're not really talked about.
Yeah. 2 more injuries to talk about real quick before we get into the trade stuff, because again, this is a big show tonight. Joe Alt, offensive tackle, the Chargers. He had season-ending ankle surgery today, so Joe Alt is going to be done for the season. The Chargers, I mean, that's one of the big things is their offensive line kind of fell apart this year. It did real fast.
Huge losing Joe Alt. That's huge.
Yeah. And Mikael Williams, defensive tackle, the 49ers, he tore his ACL. He's going to be out for the season. So lost there for the 49ers. I was really
excited about him. He was my preseason pick for defensive rookie of the year, but that's not going to happen now.
Yeah. So, but that's it for any of the injuries or suspensions that are going to be happening. Let's get into more of the news coming out of today, again, with the trade deadline. Let's talk about this first one. The Chargers, we just said about Joe Alt. He is out for the season, obviously, with his season-ending ankle injury. Trevor Penning, guard of the New Orleans Saints, was traded to the Chargers for, in return, a 2027 6th-round pick. So the Chargers going out and picking up an offensive lineman to try and help them get through this season, because the Chargers aren't too far back from the lead of the AFC West.
Behind.
Yeah, they're trying to go out and try and salvage the fact that they don't have they have an offensive line, but it's not fully completely put together like they would hope it would be. So anything on Trevor Penning? Any thoughts on that one?
To me, you said what, 6th round pick?
2027 6th round pick, yeah.
Yeah, that's a death move. I don't expect him to start, but that's a death move. A guy that can rotate in.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I mean, when your line's struggling like it is, I mean, you might bring in more depth, bring in more energy, and see what happens.
Yeah. The Jets and the Cowboys made a big trade today. The Cowboys received defensive tackle Quinnen Williams, and then received defensive tackle Quinnen Williams from the Jets. In return, the Jets got a 2027 first round pick, a 2026 second round pick, and they also got defensive tackle Maisie Smith. So the Cowboys boosting up their defense. Do you think it's a little too late for this to be happening for Dallas at this point? And the Jets, basically, like you said earlier to me today, that they're in full rebuild mode.
Yeah, they are. But they're in permanent rebuild mode.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good move for next year. I think Dallas's season's it's lost. It's washed up this year, like you said earlier. But I mean, the Jets now coming up in the drafts have what, 2 first round picks, like 2 second round picks. I was reading an article that they have an opportunity to do what the Lions did the year that they got, I believe it was Gibbs, Laporta, um, Brian Burns, and somebody else.
Yeah.
But I don't have that much faith in the Jets. I think they'll blow it. Either that or they'll package some of those picks to get a quarterback, because Justin Fields is just he's not it. I was for this guy going to the Jets, but he's not it.
Well, the Jets' notable draft picks for the next 2 years. In 2026, they have 2 first-round picks, one from the one of their own and one from Indianapolis. And then their second-round picks, one is from their own and one from Dallas. And then in 2027, they have 3 first-round picks.
Like they have a chance within the next couple of years
to build this team.
To get 8K, to get 7 key pieces right there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they draft right and the GM does his job, things could be turning around for the Jets sooner than later.
Yeah.
But I'm not I'm skeptical about it, is what I should say.
So I'm gonna run down. I mean, because we're pretty much coming up on the 35-minute mark of the show here, John. I mean, if you're okay with running a little past our due time, then let's run down these trades before we get into the top 25 in college football stuff.
Let's do it.
All right, man. Yeah, let's run down it. Philadelphia, they added a pass rusher to their depth today. Yesterday, they traded for Jalen Phillips of the Miami Dolphins, and in return, they sent over a 2026 third-round pick. Jalen Phillips is known as is supposed to be one of the best pass rushers in football, and Philadelphia adding this to their resume of defensive players. So, I mean, your thoughts on Philadelphia making this move for Jalen Phillips?
I think it's a good death move. I mean, if he doesn't start, he's a good guy that can
he's
get
a
rotated
starter.
in.
He's a starter. Oh, yeah. He's a starter, dude. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to see him on the field this weekend. Definitely.
We'll see how it turns out. I mean, I don't know if they really needed him, but they got him.
I mean, his relationship with Vic Fan, why am I not thinking about our defensive coordinator's name? They have a relationship because he was out there for a year as the defensive coordinator. So, they're going to get along very well. And I think he's going to pick things up very, very fast in Philadelphia. I think this was a great move and a great addition to the defense. So the Baltimore Ravens, they traded with Tennessee yesterday. They ended up getting linebacker Dramont Jones, and in return, Tennessee got a 2026 fifth-round draft pick conditional, and it could convey over to a fourth-round draft pick. So the Ravens adding to their defense. Do you have any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the worst defenses in the league. I mean, they could use all the help they can get. I'm for them adding anybody at this point.
Yeah. The Jaguars, they went out and got themselves a wide receiver. They traded for Jacoby Myers of the Las Vegas Raiders. In return, they got the Raiders got a 2026 fourth-round pick and a 2026 sixth-round pick. So the Raiders adding some some draft depth, and the Jaguars adding to their wide receiver room. Your thoughts on this one?
Kudos to the Raiders. I mean, Myers didn't want to be there anymore, and I don't blame him for not wanting to be there anymore. They got some good draft picks for him, but man, they didn't do him any favors in Jacksonville at all, man. Like, you got Lawrence throwing him the ball, you got injury problems to their wide receivers. I think it's a crowded room when they're all healthy between Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Henry, and now Jacoby. And I personally would rather seen San Francisco go for him, a team that needed a wide receiver. But I don't like that landing spot for him. Just at him as a player.
The Cowboys added more depth to their defense. They ended up trading for linebacker Logan Wilson from Cincinnati. Cincinnati in return got a 2026 seventh round pick. I looked at the statistics of Logan Wilson, and he's had a pretty decent career. I think, like you said earlier with the Quentin Williams trade, I think this is a very good move for Dallas. It's in the right direction. I think it's just a little too late this season. This is like a future buildup for them.
Jerry Jones said that he listens to the fans. He hears what they're saying, and he's making defensive moves to help build a weak spot for them. I mean, the Cowboys they're bad on defense, but they're great on offense. So you got to get that figured out if you're going to be a contender for not only the East, but just a contender in the playoffs in general. And he's trying to do that.
Yeah. The Chicago Bears, they added to their defensive line. They traded for Joe Tryon from the Cleveland Browns. In return, the Browns ended up getting a 2026 seventh round pick and a 2026 sixth round pick as well. So the Browns adding to some of their draft capital, getting a defensive, and the Bears adding to their defense with Joe Tryon. Also, the Seahawks, they ended up trading for Rashid Shaheed, wide receiver from the New Orleans Saints. In return, the Saints got a 2026 fourth round and 2026 fifth round draft pick. Any thoughts on Rashid Shaheed heading out to Seattle?
You know, at first, I didn't like this trade, but then I realized, you know what? Seattle is having injury problems with their wide receivers. This is a perfect number 2 for Jackson Smith-Njigba. He's fast. He can stretch the field. Sam Darnold is killing it this year. He almost had a perfect game on Sunday. And this is a great move for them, as much as I don't like to say that. I mean, Cooper Kupp's been on and off the field with injuries. They're relying on guys like Torrey Horton, the rookie out of Colorado State, and other guys who you've never heard of before. Heck, one of them's been on and off teams for like 6 years and got his first touchdown on Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't even remember his name, but it's like this will bring stability for them. And I like this move a lot now that I really think about it.
I think it's a good move. I said this to you earlier. I said I thought it was either going to be Shaheed or Kamara. I thought one of those two were going to end up getting traded this week. Yeah. And it ended up being Shaheed. The reason why I sit here saying Kamara, and I agree with you on something you said to me earlier of it would be stupid for the Saints to get rid of Kamara. It would be. But if they don't want to focus on building an offensive line to protect not only Kamara, but Tyler Shook at this point, because Shook is the quarterback, then Kamara and the Saints, I mean, Kamara might want to start thinking about salvaging the back end of his career and going somewhere that's going to give a damn about protecting him and getting him to where he wants to be, and that is winning a championship. He's a hell of a running back. I think the Saints put him into a position to where he's not going to get anywhere further than just earning yardage. And the promise that he still has as a running back is amazing. I just think he's on a bad team, and I don't see this bad team going anywhere soon. I don't see them trying to make moves to better themselves anytime soon. If I was a New Orleans Saints fan, I would expect my team to be bad for at least the next 3 seasons. At least.
Agree.
You know, so if I was Alvin Kamara, I would have been in that GM's office saying, trade me. Send me somewhere. And send me somewhere where I can compete. Because I don't want to go somewhere where I'm going to end up in the same position. You know, I don't want to go to Tennessee. I don't want to go to Cleveland. I don't want to stay here. I don't want to go to Vegas. Send me somewhere where they are ready and raring to go to raise a Lombardi trophy at the end of the
The
year.
funny
Green
thing
Bay,
is,
Philly, somewhere.
the teams you mentioned don't need a running back.
They
Tennessee and
don't.
Cleveland.
I'm just saying,
I
just
know
for
what you
example,
meant.
I would sit there be saying, send me somewhere like, Baltimore, Philly, Green Bay, uh, Kansas City, somewhere to compete.
I don't need running backs either.
I know. I'm just putting that out there. That's why. I know they don't need running backs, John. I'm just putting it out there. Just saying, send me somewhere to compete. That's all. Now I lost my spot here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, the Jets and the Colts made a trade today. The Indianapolis Colts end up getting Ahmad Sauce Gardner. And in return, the Jets got a 2026 first round, 2027 first round pick, and wide receiver Adonai Mitchell. So the Jets adding to their receiver room, also getting their first round picks that we talked about a little earlier ago, and the Colts adding to their defensive backfield with Sauce Gardner. Huge move for the Colts, because even though they've been playing the way they've been playing and winning games the way they've been winning games and in first place in the AFC, they still do need some help in that defensive backfield, and this, I think, may have solved their problem.
Yeah, this was the move of the day for me. Like, the Colts secondary is 26th in the league. It's their Achilles heel. Now you're getting a corner that could help that greatly. And you didn't really give up much for him, I don't think, but I love this move for the Colts. It's going to definitely help shut down that passing team. That the shut down the passing game is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And just help them to get to where they want to be. Like, this was a brilliant move.
I agree with you. I do not think that the Colts gave up much either. Yeah, you sit here and think 2 first round picks. Okay. And Sauce Gardner's worth that.
Back end.
Exactly. I mean, you got to think, and this is the thing, is some people would sit there thinking, oh, well, now the Jets are going to have, no, it all depends now where the Colts finish. Let's say the Colts are raising the Lombardi trophy at the end of this year. Well, guess what? The Jets have a 32nd pick in the first round.
Basically a second round pick.
Exactly.
Let's be honest. What's the difference between 32 and 33? Let's be honest with ourselves with that question.
Exactly. I mean, in the later rounds, those one pick ahead kind of count because you're trying to get the best guy on the board. But in the first 2 rounds, it's like you're getting a decent player. And it's been like that for the past couple drafts. I mean, the team that I can think of off the top of my head so far, Philadelphia, last year in the draft. They go out, they get Quinyon Mitchell in the first round, and then they were able to move up 1 spot in the second round to pick up Cooper DeJean. So, look what Cooper DeJean is. I mean, the guy has an interception for a touchdown in the Super Bowl, on his birthday, nonetheless. So there's good players in the second round just as much as there is in the first round. And sometimes you might find that diamond in the rough in the 4th, 5th, 7th. You never know. Brock Purdy, last pick in the draft. Look at the 49ers with him. Look at the success he's had so far in his career. And I don't want to hear the whole, oh, well, he's injured this year. So look at the fucking success he's had so far in his career. Yes, he's dealing with an injury. He will be back on the field, rearing and ready to go as soon as he's fully healthy. So don't tell me that whole, oh, but he's been injured this year. No, so what? So what? Everybody's freaking injured this year. Yeah, I'm going off. That's all we got on the trade deadline, though. That's all the big moves and stuff that has happened today. A big day in the trading and NFL and everything with the deadline. John, we're going to take 30 seconds. We're going to switch our gears over to the college football. We'll be back here on the Huddle Podcast. All right, so make sure you're heading over to all the Huddle Up Podcast social medias after the show. Make sure you're hitting that follow button on the X and TikTok over at the Huddle Up Pod. Over at the Huddle Up Pod on YouTube, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. That's how you follow on the YouTube. And hitting that follow button on the Twitch channel at the Huddle Up Podcast. It'll be greatly appreciated if you do that after the show. Help us build the Huddle Up Podcast going through the 2025 season and beyond. And just to let y'all know, show announcements are made over on the X. We post videos on TikTok and on YouTube almost daily. We're posting videos. So let's get into the college football news. Oh my gosh, John, not Cam, John. It's Tuesday, Mike. Let's get into the college football news, John. First things first, Hugh Freeze, head coach of Auburn, has been fired this week. It happened on Sunday afternoon. His record was 15-9 overall, 6-16 in the SEC. He's 7-11 against FBS teams at home, 2-9 in the SEC. On the road, he went 5-7. He was 4-7 in the SEC. He had one bowl game that he lost in, and that was in 2023 in the Music City Bowl. In the Iron Bowl against Alabama, he was 0-2. He went 1-11 against ranked opponents. His record rundown: 2023 6-7, 3-5 in the SEC. 2024 5-7, 2-6 in the SEC. And then in 2025, before he got fired, he's 4-5, 1-5 in the SEC. Hugh Freeze getting fired out in Auburn. Before I ask you your thoughts on this one, John, I'm just going to say this. When you look at the rundown of the years for Hugh Freeze in Auburn, again, 6-7 to 5-7 to 4-5. In the SEC, 3-5 to 2-6 to 1. It just seemed like it got worse and worse and worse as the years went on. So I'll say this right now. Smart move by Auburn. Move on. Find somebody that's going to come in and give you success out there. But what's your thoughts on the Hugh Freeze firing?
I completely agree. This guy seems like he could win the easy ones, but once it came to conference play and ranked opponents, he just couldn't get the job done. I'm surprised he wasn't fired last year, now that you ran those numbers down.
Yeah.
And yeah, Auburn deserves better than that, and I'm glad they didn't settle for that.
I mean, I try and do the deep dive on the numbers because, not only hosting, but I'm also, the producer, and I got to try and have this information put together for us so that way it makes it easy on us. So, running the numbers down and everything, deep diving and stuff, I'm just doing my job. So I appreciate the positive feedback on that.
Yeah,
even though it wasn't positive, even though it wasn't positive numbers, appreciate it. Mike Shula, offensive coordinator of South Carolina, was also fired. South Carolina not doing too much this year. Making a move on the offensive coordinator. Do you expect the other positions to be, taken care of this year, and they possibly have an overhaul out in South Carolina?
Question. I expected the head coach. I could see the offensive coordinator going, just because this was a team that was supposed to compete for the national champion, and they had a quarterback that was supposed to compete for the Heisman and be a candidate.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see their head coach going too. But I don't know about the defensive coordinator, to be honest with you.
Okay. Dylan Raiola, quarterback in Nebraska, he broke his fibula in the game on Saturday for Nebraska. He's going to miss the remainder of the season. Tough loss for Nebraska. Tough loss for this kid. I know this kid was supposed to be something special in college football this year as well. I've heard a lot about this quarterback during the offseason, and it's just been a tough go for him out in Nebraska. So rough for him. And the last thing that I want to bring up, John, we've talked about Coach Prime many times this season, correct? We've talked about him almost every week.
I don't know about every week, but we talked about him.
We talked about him a lot. More news coming out on him. He's catching some heat for what he did on Saturday. Colorado, they ended up losing to Arizona 52-17 this past week. Okay. He was blocking interviewers from interviewing players after this game. Would you call that protecting your talent or just trying to protect his job?
I would call that babying your players, because you're going to let them talk during the good times, but not the bad times. I get it. As the coach, you're supposed to say, it's all on me. I made the play calls. It's all on me. I didn't call a good game. but at the same time, your players aren't executing that your plays. So I he should have let them talk. He should have let them take their lumps. It's only going to help them more in the long run. But I don't honestly know how he's still the coach of Colorado. He can't he can't beat the good teams. He can only beat the bad teams. And I thought he should have been fired last year, to be honest with you.
I mean, instead they gave him an extension last year.
Yeah, Colorado just wants to stay bad, I guess. He's not a very good coach. He needs to go to a smaller school and work his way back up. Figure out what he's doing. Like Eddie George is doing, like Michael Vick is doing,
Deshaun
like
Jackson.
Deshaun Jackson is doing. You know, UCLA tried that with Deshaun Foster, another former player. He got fired by week 3. So I mean, these former NFL players, they know the game, but coaching is different than playing. Like you need start small and work your way up. Take baby steps.
Yeah. No, I highly agree. And the whole thing about preparing, your players for the future. It's not like Colorado has not produced NFL players. There's players in the NFL, many players in the NFL that are from the University of Colorado, and specifically off of his team since he's been coaching out there. So to prepare, I agree with that. That's more preparation of saying, hey, when you go to the NFL, you can't avoid this.
Exactly.
Even
Don't
in a
baby
loss.
'em.
No.
Don't hold their hand. They're men.
Yeah.
They're in their early 20s, but they're still men. They're still young men. They're still developing and growing in a way at that age.
Yeah.
Don't hold their hand.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I think it was more of protecting his brand and his job than it was protecting his players and anything. It was more of the babying and protecting his job. That's the way I look at it. It was. So that's all we got for college football news. We got week 11 coming up. Not many top 25 matchups. We have 2 top 25 matchups this week. Just 2. Okay? We're going to talk about them.
I'm looking forward to a lot.
Yeah. But as we always do here on the Tuesday edition of the Huddle Hub Podcast, we run down the top 25. Starting off with number 1, Ohio State. They are 8-0 in the year. They have not moved at all. They are the number 1 team for pretty much the whole season. They are taking on Purdue. So what do you got on Ohio State and Purdue?
Ohio State has the best defense in the country, number 1 with a bang, and Purdue, their offense isn't that good. They're like in the 90s, if I recall, and I don't see Purdue having a shot to win this game at all.
Yeah, I'm with you. John, we talked about for the past couple of weeks, talking about the projections of the college football playoffs, and I had said that I think Miami is a much stronger team than Ohio State. I mean, I think, and we're going to talk about Miami.
That.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about Miami. They're still in the top 25, even though they have fallen way down in the rankings in the past 2 weeks. I mean, if you look at the Miami team 2-3 weeks ago, you probably sit there and safely say it. It's not safe to say anymore. Ohio State is probably the team. Probably. And I say that because there is a team that I think may have a shot of beating them, and we will be talking about them. But let's move on. Number 2, Indiana. They are 9-0 on the year, have not moved from the number 2 spot since getting there. They're heading into Happy Valley to take on Penn State and the Nittany Lions. So what do you got on Indiana and Penn State?
The Penn State hasn't won a game since September 13th, and I don't think that's going to continue, to be honest with you. So, I mean, they lost Drew Aller, and it's just it's falling apart for them at the seams this year. This is just a washed year for Penn State.
You said 3 weeks ago that if Penn State would win out, they're still bowl eligible. And I had said to you, I hope not. I hope that this season just completely washes away and they lose the rest of the way. I don't want to see them in a bowl game. I didn't want to see them in a bowl game. I want them to just be done with this season and start prepping for next year. And now that they've lost to Ohio State last week, they're not bowl eligible anymore. They can't do it. I got my wish. Let's move on to next year. Let's see who the head coach is going to be.
They still have a shot. They're 3-5. So if they win out,
Don't ruin my
They
hopes.
still have a shot.
Don't ruin my hopes. They're going to lose to Indiana, okay? It's going to happen.
Oh, I know
There,
they are, but
there's
they had
no
to lose
way.
2. They have to lose 2 more to not be bowl eligible.
Well, they're going to. They're going to. Simple as that. So, number 3, Texas A&M. They are 8-0 on the year. They are going to head out to take on number 19, Missouri. Missouri is 6-2 on the year. What do you got on Texas A&M and Missouri?
This is a tough one because I honestly think Missouri has a shot to upset A&M. I don't even want to say as crazy as that sounds. I mean, Missouri's offense is 14th in the country. They can put up points. Their defense is 5th in the country. And it's crazy because I think that's what's going to be the big difference here is their defense. I think they're going to stop Texas A&M when it matters. It's in Missouri, and I'm going to say the Tigers upset Texas A&M.
You know, I would not sit here and disagree with you on that at all because of the fact that Missouri, even though being 6-2, you see the consistencies that they have on the offense and the defense. They can go out and win this game, even though Texas A&M is undefeated. I mean, it's been proven this year that any team could go in and win at any time. Miami got beat twice in a row. Penn State got dropped by UCLA. But Missouri is flirting with being in the top 15 pretty much all season and been trying to get into that top 10 and just have not been able to muster that. If they come out and beat Texas A&M, I think Missouri, they'll get back into the top 15, obviously, but I think they might end up flirting with that top 10.
Missouri has to start proving they can beat the big dogs in the SEC if they want to be contender. They lost to Alabama by 3. They lost to Vanderbilt by 7. They got Oklahoma coming up in 2 weeks after this game. They need to start beating the big dogs, and I'd like to see them do that.
All right. Well, we got number 4, Alabama, who is 7-1, taking on LSU this week. So what do you got on number 4, Alabama against LSU?
I would really like to think LSU has a shot, but I feel like they're kind of slowly falling apart a bit at the seams. LSU. I mean, Bama. They have looked really unstoppable since they lost to Florida State, and it's crazy. But LSU has looked the exact opposite. I mean, they're 95th in the nation on offense, and I think that's what's going to hurt them. I think Bama is just going to, again, they're going to shut them down. And I like Ty Simpson, the quarterback for Alabama. I think he's going to have a day against the LSU's defense. I really do. So I think Alabama's going to continue to roll and go 8-1.
I mean, Alabama is the team that I think can go in and give Ohio State a run for their money. This is the game that I hope is the national championship, is Alabama against Ohio State. I want to see.
We've seen Alabama win enough. Not me.
I want to see Alabama's defense against that Ohio State offense. Do I want to see Alabama win it? Yes, because Ohio State is in the Big Ten.
I don't want to see either one of them win it.
But Ohio State, the way they're running right now, it's like they're saying we're repeating this year. And right now, when you look at the track record of repeated teams, the Florida Panthers in the NHL, repeat. The Dodgers in MLB, repeat. What was the other repeat that happened? There was another team that repeated this year, and I forget what league it was in.
Dodgers?
You had the Dodgers repeat. You had...
Yeah, but Alabama didn't win it last year, so how are they repeating?
I'm talking about Ohio State.
Oh, okay. I thought you were still talking about it. That's why I was like, wait a minute.
We had the Florida Panthers repeat. We had the Dodgers repeat. We had another the possibilities of, okay, so I seen the post. It was the Dodgers repeated, the Florida Panthers repeated. There's a possibility that the Eagles could repeat, and Ohio State might. This is like the year of the possible repeat all across the board. But I think Alabama, with that defense, could go in and stop that from happening. I think they could. I'm with you. Alabama's won enough. But it's going to be Ohio State or Alabama. Maybe Indiana. Maybe. Because the way Indiana's been playing. But I think Alabama has the best shot at doing it with that defense.
I feel like you're overlooking Oregon, to be honest with you.
I want to have confidence for Oregon. I do. But they are a very, very young offense. And the question is going to be, can that young offense handle the pressure of the college football playoffs if they would get as deep as the semifinals? That's where I would start questioning them, is if they make it to the semifinals, are they going to get past that to get to the national title? I could see them being good in the first round. I could see them being okay in the quarterfinals. It's going to be the semifinals where I think they would have some issues with the fact that they're young and the lights are brighter, because they're one of the only 2 college football games on. Those lights are bright. So, number 5, Georgia. They are 7-1 on the year. They have not moved from the 5 position in a while. They're going to be taking on Mississippi State. So what do you got on Georgia and Mississippi State?
I don't see Mississippi State having a chance of winning this game, to be honest with you. Georgia has looked really good this year. I mean, their only loss came to Alabama. So I don't see Georgia losing this one. They should firmly win this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, Georgia's been on that. John, we talk about some teams that kind of stay under the radar and don't make a lot of noise, don't get talked about a lot in the media, and Georgia as of late has been one of those teams. They have not been talked about. I mean, even being featured on, College Football Game Day, they are very quietly under the radar from media. Not a lot of talk. Georgia is showing that one loss is not going to define how their season is going to end or where they're going to end up, come time to decide who's in the SEC title game or who's going to make the college football player from the SEC or anything like that. Georgia should have no problem going out and beating Mississippi State. Georgia may end up finishing the rest of the season with 3 weeks to go undefeated. Just one loss, but finish the rest of the season not losing a game. So, number 6, Oregon. They are 7-1 on the year. They have not moved from the 6th spot in a while. They're going to be taking on Iowa. So, what do you got on Oregon and Iowa?
I think Oregon's going to take this just because the Hawkeyes offense is not very good. And then when you look on the other side, Oregon has a top 10 offense and defense. Yeah, the Hawkeyes are 6-2, but they didn't play anybody for their wins. And their losses came against good teams. They lost to Iowa State and they lost to Indiana. Now they're playing another real good team, and I think that trend's going to continue just because they just don't have it together on offense, and I think it's going to show, and Oregon's going to take advantage of that.
All right. Number 7, Ole Miss. They have not moved from the 7th spot in a while. They're 8-1 on the year. They're going to be taking on the Citadel. So what do you got on Oregon and the Citadel? Or I'm sorry, Ole Miss and the Citadel.
I mean, let's be honest. They're playing the Citadel. Like, I really don't have to. Ole Miss is going to rock them. I mean, it's the Citadel. They're 4-5.
I sat writing down the top 25 this week, John, and I looked at it, and we have 2 top 25 matchups that we're going to talk about. You look at the rest of this list, and it's like, are there some teams down this rundown that can go out and win a game against one of these top 25 teams? There's possibilities of it happening. But it's like you sit here thinking about these games, and it's like Ohio State, they're not going to lose. Indiana, Texas A&M. I mean, Texas A&M may have an opportunity to lose to Missouri because Missouri is number 19. But Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Ole Miss, it's like the top 7. It's like it seems like that may not move at all after week 11. It feels like it may not at all. And for Ole Miss to go out and play the Citadel, I mean, that's a win. If the Citadel goes out and beats Ole Miss, then Ole Miss better be fully eliminated from the top 25.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I'm just saying. They better be. You go out and lose to the Citadel, you might as well say, take me off the freaking rankings. Just bottom line, take me off the rankings because I lost to this team. I should have never lost this team. That's just like going out and saying, if I lose to FCS Southeast, take me off the rankings.
Not a real school.
So we got number 8 BYU, who is 8-0 on the year. They moved up 2 spots from 10 to 8. They're going to be taking on number 9 Texas Tech. Texas Tech has moved up 4 spots from number 13 to 9. They are 8-1 on the year. What do you got on BYU and Texas Tech?
First off, I really like this BYU Cougars team, but everything looked like this should be a Texas Tech win. Texas Tech is a top 10 offense and defense. BYU is a top 30 offense and defense. But I think the X factor for BYU is their quarterback, Bear Bachmeier. Nobody's talking about this kid. This kid's putting up Heisman numbers, and nobody's talking about this kid. I think he's very underlooked. He's very underrated. I mean, sure, Texas Tech has David Bailey. He's killing it this year with 11.5 sacks. And you know what? Texas Tech may very well win this game. But BYU's already beaten some dogs in the fight. They beat they beat Iowa State. They beat Utah. Shattered Utah's chances of winning the Big 12, the team I thought was going to win the Big 12. I mean, like I said, on paper, it looks like Texas Tech should win this game. But I'm going with BYU. I am. I'm going with BYU. And I can't even say for the upset. It's 8 versus 9. Like, to me, 9 beating 8 is not an upset. Numerically, it is. But I don't consider the loser of this game getting upset just because of how close they are. One's 8-0, one's 8-1. And I'm going with BYU here. I think they're my new pick to win the Big 12.
All right. We got number 10, Notre Dame. They are 6-2 on the year, moved up 2 spots from 12 to 10. They are taking on Navy. So Notre Dame and Navy, what do you got?
See, this game intrigues me. You know, Navy's 6-2. Notre Dame doesn't have anybody left on their schedule. Navy is, I guess, unless you count South Florida, who's 6-2, who they actually play next week. But no, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong team. I'm looking at Navy. But as I was saying, Notre Dame doesn't have anybody left on their schedule after Navy, unless you count Pittsburgh, which they play next week. So Navy could I keep saying Navy. Notre Dame could run the table here. Like, Navy's a good team. Let's be honest, but I'm trying to see who they beat here. They have a quality win against USC, but that's it. They lost to Miami. They lost to Texas A&M. They're a good, smaller school. Not saying Navy is small, but they're not in a Power 4 conference. Their conference doesn't have a lot of quality opponents in it. And I think Notre Dame's going to win. If Notre Dame has a hiccup, it's going to be next week against Pittsburgh.
All right. Number 11, Oklahoma. They moved up 7 spots from 18 to 11. They're 7-2 on the year. They're on the bye week. Number 12, Virginia. They moved up 3 spots from 15 to 12. They are 8-1 on the year. They're going to be taking on Wake Forest. So what are you going on Virginia and Wake Forest?
I feel like I've been sleeping on Virginia all year. I haven't been taking them seriously. I mean, they beat Louisville. They beat Florida State when Florida State was ranked 8, and they looked like they were coming on. And let's be honest, if they get past Wake Forest, they just have Duke and Virginia Tech left. They could very well run the table, go 11-1, and be in that conference championship game. I mean, Wake Forest isn't having a bad year themselves. They're 5-3. But when it comes down to it, Wake's offense is 75th, and that's their Achilles heel, and I think that's where they're going to stumble. They're going to stumble putting up points against Virginia, and Virginia's going to beat them.
I'll say this: you're not the only one sleeping on Virginia. I literally looked at the top 25 this week, and I'm thinking Virginia moved up from 15 to 12. They moved up from, I believe, 19 or 18 to 15 last week. I'm like, where has this Virginia team come from? And then I looked at their schedule, and I'm like, okay, yeah, they beat Florida State. They've been winning ball games. I mean, we've talked about, Georgia Tech and Miami in the ACC title game. We've talked about Georgia Tech and other teams like Louisville in the ACC title game, but we have not talked about Virginia.
Yeah.
And now Virginia is possibly in the talks of making the ACC title game.
I think they will.
Putting themselves in position to possibly make a college football playoff, because we know how the committee is with the ACC. It's bottom line. Hopefully this team wins out and gets that vote. Finish 11-1, gets that vote and gets in. Because I'll say this right now, as much as I'm sitting here saying I think Alabama can go out and defeat Ohio State and everything, I probably would be rooting for Virginia to go all the way. Because I would have to pick a team to root for, right? I never said I'd be rooting for Alabama or Ohio State. I'd probably jump on the bandwagon of Virginia and say, let's go Virginia. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Number 13, Texas. They moved up 7 spots from 20 to 13. They are 7-2 on the year. They have a bye week this week. Number 14, Louisville. They are 7-1. They moved up 2 spots from 16 to 14. They are taking on California. So what do you got on Louisville and California?
I don't see a reason why Louisville should lose this game. I mean, look, Cal, you're 5-4. That's good. You'll probably finish 6-7, maybe 7-5. Get in a bowl if you're lucky. But Cal's problem is their offense. Let's be honest. They're the 105th offense in the country. Their quarterback, 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He basically throws a touchdown for every interception he throws. I mean, Cal, they're still trying to figure it out. Louisville knows where they're at. And I think Cal's offense, again, just like the last game we talked about, it's going to be the reason why they lose. Louisville's 11 in defense, and they're going to just shut them down.
Louisville's that other team, just like Virginia, that I've been kind of keeping my eye on. They came out of nowhere. They came out of nowhere when we were talking about them possibly being in the top 25. And I remember saying that when they were not in the top 25, I said, if they win this certain game, they better be in the top 25 next week. And since that has happened, they have just been moving up, moving up, moving up. So Louisville, Virginia, 2 teams that really, for me, as a fan of college football, have come out of nowhere. For other people, probably not. But for me, has. And that would be
came out of nowhere for me until I realized that they got Miller Moss in the transfer portal. Then I'm like, okay, he was good for USC. That makes sense why they're having this success.
But for me, Louisville and Virginia in an ACC title game, I'm for it. Let's go. Let's go. I mean, you hyped me up 2 weeks ago with Georgia Tech and Miami. Thanks.
Well, Miami decided to lose their second game and throw that completely out the window. So
freaking hype me up for something, and then Miami has to go shit the bed.
And then Georgia Tech did last week because you jinxed them.
Don't throw that on me. Number 15, Vanderbilt. They are 7-2 on the year. They moved down 6 spots from 9 to 15. They're going to be taking on Auburn. So what do you got on Vanderbilt and Auburn?
Auburn's a mess right now. They really are. They just fired their head coach. I feel like they have a team that's capable to win. They're 4-5. They'll probably make a bowl, but they don't have that leadership to lead and shape them. Their offense is very underperforming. Let's be honest. And Vanderbilt's figured it out. They're 7-2. I don't see why they'll have any problem beating this struggling Auburn Tiger team. I think maybe in a couple of years Auburn will be back, but it's not a couple of years right now. So it's the present. It's it's November 4th, and Vanderbilt just has the better team.
I feel bad for Vanderbilt because of the consistency they've shown all year, and picking up that loss, which wasn't a big loss at all, 24-21 to a Texas team who has been slightly inconsistent this year. It kind of upset me. I was hoping Vanderbilt would have went out and win that game and continued their climb. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that they would have moved past the number 9 spot. They probably would have stuck there this week. But just seeing the improvement of Vanderbilt coming out of nowhere and being where they're being, they go out and beat Auburn this week. You got to think of it. Teams that are on the bye week, they kind of get moved out of their spots. Sometimes they don't. Could Vanderbilt move back into maybe the 11th spot or the 13th spot? Maybe. They lost to Texas, so I don't see them taking over Texas's 13th spot. I don't. But to see Vanderbilt and the improvement that they've made all year has been great. Auburn, I mean, yes, they just fired their head coach. They're kind of in a position to where, hey, we are flirting with making a bowl. But this is a great bounce back for Vanderbilt, and I do not think they're going to let it slip through their fingers as easy. I don't. So I'm with you. I think Vanderbilt goes out, wins this ball game as well. Number 16, Georgia Tech. They moved down 8 spots from 8 to 16. They're 8-1 on the year. They're on the bye. Number 17, Utah. They moved up 7 spots to 7-2. They're on a bye. Number 18, Miami. They're 6-2. They moved down 8 spots from 10 to 18. They're going to be taking on Syracuse. So what do you got on Miami and Syracuse?
I don't see any reason why Miami's going to lose this game, to be honest with you. I mean, Syracuse, 3 wins on the year, only 1 win. 1 win in the ACC. That's crazy. And that 1 win was Clemson. That's it. They lost to everybody else. I don't see that changing. So I don't see a reason why Miami's just not going to steamroll over Syracuse.
I'm going to say this right now. As much as I want to agree with you on Miami going out and steamrolling Syracuse with the way Miami's been playing the past 2 weeks, it's also hard to say that it wouldn't surprise me if Syracuse went out and beat Miami either. But I think right now this game, I'll say this. I think this game's a toss-up right now. With the way Miami's been playing as of late, I think this game is a 50-50. Simple as that. I think it's 50-50. I think Miami has the better edge, but it would not surprise me at all if Syracuse goes out and wins this game the way Miami's been the past couple weeks. Wouldn't. So, number 20, USC, they moved up 3 spots from 23 to 20. They're 6-2 on the year. They're going to be taking on Northwestern. So, what do you got on USC and Northwestern?
USC's going to win. Like, Northwestern's been the product of their schedule. I mean, the good teams they play, they lose. Lost to Tulane, lost to Oregon, lost to Nebraska. I mean, everybody else they beat just hasn't been that good at that point of the year. And I don't see why this will be any different, to be honest with you. They're just, USC has come out and proven they can beat good teams. That's why they're ranked. But Northwestern, it's great that you're 5-3 and you'll probably make a bowl game. That's great for your school. But it's just not going to happen this week. You're going to get your 6th week. You're going to get your 6th win another time, not against USC.
All right. Number 21, Michigan. They stayed in the 21 spot at 7-2. They're on the bye week this week. Number 22, Memphis. They moved up 3 spots from 25 to 22. They're 8-1 on the year. They're going to be taking on Tulane. So what do you got on Memphis and Tulane?
Game kind of intrigues me, to be honest with you. Memphis is 8-1. Tulane is 6-2. But I mean, to me, other than Tulane's defense, because Tulane's defense is bad. I mean, I feel like this is an even match. And I think that's going to be the ultimate X factor on this, is how bad Tulane's defense is. I think Memphis is ultimately going to win because of that. And that's that.
All right. Number 23, Tennessee, they moved down 9 spots. They are 6-3 on the year. They're on the bye week this week. Number 25, Cincinnati, they moved down 8 spots as well. They're 7-2 on the year. They're on a bye. So the final team that we are talking about, number 24, Washington, they are 6-2. They moved into the rankings this week. They're going to be taking on Wisconsin. So what do you got on Washington and Wisconsin?
On paper, honestly, record-wise, it looks like Washington should have no problem with them. To be honest with you, the only thing Wisconsin has going for them is their defense, and that's it. Their offense is worse than Tulane's. Their offense is ranked 131st, and that's where the problem is going to be against them. Washington has a top 30 defense. I mean, a top 40 defense and a top 30 offense. And I don't see anything to tell me that Wisconsin's going to win. They're 0-5 in the Big Ten. They're 2-6 on the year. I mean, geez, these guys have just lost after they went 2-0 and then lost it out. Once they started playing real schools, their only wins were against Miami and Ohio and Middle Tennessee. Once they started playing conference play, that was a wrap for Wisconsin. That program is in a serious rebuild right now, and it's going to continue this year. Washington should just handle them and take care of business.
All right, so that's it for the top 25. That's the rundown. Me and Cam will recap week 11 of the college football week on the Sunday show at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Huddle Podcast Twitch and on the Huddle Podcast YouTube channel. Please make sure you're heading over to all the Huddle Hub Podcast social medias and hitting that follow button after the show. If you head over to the X and the TikTok, you hit that follow button. And over on the YouTube, you hit the subscribe button. That's where you can follow us on social medias. You can check out videos that get posted basically daily and help us build the Huddle Up podcast going through the 2025 season and beyond. It would be greatly appreciated. Make sure you're hitting that follow button on the Twitch channel as well. All the links to all the socials are in the Twitch channel bio. So if you click on the link, it takes you right to the social media you desire. Hopefully, it's all of them. Hopefully. Just hit the follow button because different social medias do different things. On the Twitch, over on the TikTok, over on the TikTok and the YouTube, videos are posted. And over on the X, that's where announcements for shows are made. So go there, and then we are live on the Twitch channel. John, your social medias are going to be up in about 2 seconds here. As soon as I can find it, here we go. John, your socials are on the bottom. What do you have cooking up in the lab, man? What do you got going on? What do you want to let the people know?
Content's been a little slow the last couple weeks. I am working on some stuff for the Huddle Hub online dynasty for college football 26. So I'm working on some weeks, getting caught up with that. But that's basically it. Just follow, like, share, subscribe so you know when things drop, and then you can follow along with how we're doing.
Can we reveal the story we talked about last night?
No.
Not yet.
No, that'll be a Madden thing.
But it builds off college football. So
no, but
the cool thing,
that's a Madden thing.
We won't reveal it now, but for those
that'll
of you
be revealed with Madden when we start playing Madden.
For those of you following the college football thing, be ready because there is a cool story that goes along on John's side of things.
Yeah,
coaching. We are. I am trying to cook up one for myself because let me just say this. This is the only thing I'm going to reveal. Is John is on the NFC side of things. How we do our Madden stuff is we play in different divisions or different conferences. So if John is an NFC team, I'm going to be an AFC team. That way, if we make the Super Bowl, we play each other. Okay, just like college football, we're not in the same conference, so that way we have an opportunity to play each other, like you've seen on the live last week. John's on the NFC side of things. That's all I'm going to say because of the story he's cooking up. And it's very, very cool and very exciting. He had me excited when he told me this, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is freaking awesome!" I gotta try and cook something up.
When I noticed the small detail,
yes,
of the game that a lot of people would overlook, then it just popped in there for me.
Now I gotta really deep dive into things and really think what I want to. I may have a connection, and I will text it to you. Actually, when we get off air here, I'll tell you about it because we always do our post-show meeting. I'll tell you about it when we get off air. Okay.
Okay.
Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, Metal Mike 714 is where you can find me. I don't do much personal social media. All my content creating is here on the show, here on the Huddle Podcast, and over on River City Radio and Off the Top Media with the table spot on Monday nights after Raw, and on the Boom every Wednesday night after AEW Dynamite. So if you want to see my personal content and you just want to see some stupid shit that I post, go for it. Go for it. Follow me, Metal Mike 714. If you want to contact me and talk about anything, you can contact me on the socials as well. Instagram is the best way to contact me. I'll just say that. With that being said, thank you everybody for joining us tonight here on the Tuesday edition of the Huddle Podcast. I will be back here on Sunday with Cam as we run down the college football Saturday and we get you guys ready for week 10 of the NFL. Be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. Until Sunday, we'll see you guys later. Deuces.